I told you guys this would be a good idea. I mean, look how epic we look.
I don't know. This seems kind of cheesy.
Shut up, Grian.
Hello, my name is Grian, and today I'm going to be transforming a desert village. I know I've already transformed a normal village, but I got so many comments saying you've got to do the desert one.
Oh, no!
Quick, go, 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 go. Come on, quick! Quick, out of there, quick!
He's got it going on.
I'm right here.
The soul cannot be found. It has been ages since I've built a really complicated redstone contraption on this channel, so I'm going to try my best to create a realistic piston elevator that takes the player up by 6 blocks.
Now what happens when you have a very large map environment that you want the players to explore? Very simple, you increase their sprint speed.
And now, please welcome your MINECON 2016 panelists.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
So,
Hello.
We said hello. Hi. Wakey, wakey. Welcome to the panel.
welcome to making creative Minecraft videos. And there are 5 of us joined here today, and we all come from very different backgrounds within the Minecraft community. And I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves, starting with...
Hi, everyone. My name is Gizzy Gaza. I make Minecraft videos, I do roleplay, storytelling, adventure maps, just funny little skits sometimes, and entertaining, child-friendly content. So thanks, guys.
Hello, everyone. I'm Grian. I do a lot of building, as well as a few other gameplay videos, but building's my kind of thing on Minecraft, as a lot of other people like to build as well.
Hi guys, my name's Mumbo Jumbo. I focus on making... Oh, thank you. I focus on making redstone videos and sort of technical bits and pieces mixed in with some silly bits and bobs as well. So that's sort of my area of expertise, really.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tortoise, and...
That's a good response.
And I like to specialize in machinimas, which is basically a type of animation where you use video games to make your own cartoons.
Ooh, good.
Hi guys, I'm Dragnos and I create videos basically teaching kids how to custom code inside of Minecraft and make a lot of custom maps and kind of make trailers for the maps and things like that. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to dive straight in, but with making videos, the first thing you need is an idea. So I think a good place to start is with how all of us come up with ideas for our videos. So, Mumbo, why don't you go first?
All right, so for me personally, I tend to sort of sit around and I think to myself, okay, so what are some really cool redstone things that I've had in my head for a little while? I tend to write down all of just the ridiculous redstone ideas I have in a book, and then I take a look through and I think, okay, that was a little bit rubbish. That one could be cool, and then this one could be improved or perhaps developed upon. And I actually have some ideas written on my hand right now. I forgot to bring my YouTube book with me to Minecon, and I came up with some ideas in the shower this morning, and I was like, I need a pen! Get me a pen! So I've chucked them down on my hand. So I basically come up with ideas, and then I write them down, and then I cross off any ideas that I don't particularly like. So that's basically how I do it.
So what's those ideas again?
Cover it away, cover it away.
All right, Dragnos, where do your ideas come from? What's your inspiration?
Well, I like to play other games as well. So when I play games, I actually feel bad that I'm playing a game and not actually making things in Minecraft. So quite often I'm like, this mechanic would work very cool in Minecraft. So I would then leave the game I'm playing, probably never go back to it, and then start fiddling and trying to recreate that particular mechanic in Minecraft. And then kind of, building the whole world to create an engaging video that'll grab the attention and then move on to teaching how to do it.
I think when anyone like watches a movie, plays a game,
Yes.
you just absorb the feel, the atmosphere, anything, and that sort of it gets retained in your mind. And when you have your own creative process, it all kind of regurgitates in your own form. So how do you come up with your stories, Gizzy?
I write a lot, and so I always like if I watching TV or like other shows, kind of get inspiration from about like shows like just watching like TV or other YouTube. Just thinking like what would work in like a Minecraft show or something. Like what can I like have fun like writing like a theme, like for example like a school theme, or like can I work with an idea like people staying like at a hotel, and what about like a kind of like a purge idea for school or something? And then I just write it down, I work with characters and try to think what would work, and then like as I'm writing, more ideas pop in my head, like, oh, this would be fun to do this, and then, oh, maybe this would happen, and then, like, it kind of just, like, perks off into, like, kind of like other shows, like, inspirational to get other ideas for my own shows.
So you kind of, like, throw your ideas down, and then it just sort of circulates.
Yeah, and as I write and write, it turns into something. I'm like, okay, this is turning into something I can be pretty happy with.
Okay, cool. The way I get ideas is a bit weird, because I've been playing Minecraft for a really long time. Like, since it was first available to purchase, I was pretty much on it. And anything that I wanted to build back then, I still remember now. So I think like, oh, what did I want? I meant to make a castle. I wanted it to look like that. And then I kind of like try and recreate it now that I've got a bit more skill behind me, and then try and teach people how to do that. But it's different for everybody. Tortoise, where do you get your inspiration from?
Well, my inspirations come from just like a lot of different places. I feel like they come to me randomly, right? Like if I just try to sit there and like think, okay, what do I want to make next? I'll sit there for like 2 hours just with no idea what I want to do. So like a lot of my inspiration will come from if I'm watching like a TV show, if a new video game came out, right? Because the good thing about machinimas is you can make it about anything. You're just limited by like how good you are at making the machinimas.
Yeah.
But I feel like my best ideas probably come from when I'm either in the shower or right about to fall asleep.
I think it's when you're most like relaxed. That's
Yes.
when they hit you. Like if you stress out about trying to find something, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's like you said. All these ideas keeps on percolating, and it's when you've had downtime, when you kind of relax, that it kind of.
That's why we come to like MINECON and stuff, so we can relax and come up
Yes.
with more ideas.
Exactly. There's just so many times. Oh,
Oh wow!
can I talk more?
This is why we don't share microphones.
But yeah, like just there's so many nights where I'm just like laying there, right about to fall asleep. Oh look, it's me. Right about to fall asleep, and I'll just think of an idea, and I have to wake up, write it down really fast, because I will not remember.
And
it.
then go back to sleep, right?
Yeah, and just go right back to sleep.
Writer's block is like our enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mumbo, where do you get your ideas?
Well, I was originally going to say that that's why I take 12-hour showers, but that's not exactly relevant anymore. But as I say, yeah, it's when you're relaxed. If I sit there, because obviously I open up my YouTube book and there's like a blank page right there. I sit there and I'm like, right, okay, so need some videos. I need to come up with some videos, and then I sit there and I'm like, yeah, let's browse Twitter for a little bit, and then I'm still no videos just yet. And I'm like, yeah, I'll watch some YouTube videos, and I'm like, no, still no ideas for redstone videos. And I sit there and actually think, just staring at the page, like, come on, I must be able to think of something.
You
now.
think it into existence.
It never happens. Then I leave it for like 5 minutes and start making some lunch, and I'm like, whoa, I'll go up with something, and then I run upstairs and write it back
Redstone
down.
lunch generator.
Redstone lunch. Get me another pen.
But keeping on the idea of ideas, I want to talk about the circle of inspiration, which is I want to talk about how we create videos, but our audience then gets inspired by what we do, and they kind of regurgitate an exaggeration of what we've made. So a cycle. It's like a cycle. So we put something out there, they build on it and send it back, and we're like, wow, I didn't think of that.
And we get inspired by that.
Yeah, many minds are better than one, and I just wanted to talk about like how your communities can develop your own ideas. Guys,
Right.
anyone?
Let me jump in then. Right. So, what I find is when I kind of make a video explaining a new concept, because the beauty of Minecraft, you can do things in so many different ways. A lot of the time, the actual community comments on the video, okay, and actually improves what it is that you've done, okay. And then for a next design, you can use bits of what they did in your kind of new videos. But what I also do is a lot of the time when I do in-depth development, I actually live stream that, so that I actually have in real time, one-on-one conversation with the people that are making videos.
That's
for.
the best one. It's instant
Yes.
feedback.
It's
It's like us
instant
asking you
feedback.
now. Like
Yeah.
if we send an idea your way, you all shout back answers. I mean, it wouldn't make much sense, but we'd get something out of it, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how do you guys deal with your sort of community and how they give you ideas, their feedback?
Well, I think the feedback I get the most is just to upload more. So I really take that
Yeah.
feedback to heart. But yeah, it's just really nice when you get like the nice, actual, like valid criticism from people. Because it doesn't help when you get comments like, "Oh, this sucks," or like even, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever." Like we want to know why it's the greatest thing ever, or why it's not as good. We want to know specifically why you think it's like why you think what you think.
You definitely need some thick skin on YouTube. You need
Yeah.
Because I assume we all read our comments, right?
Yes.
Like quite religiously. If you comment,
Yeah.
don't assume that the YouTuber doesn't read them, because we do. And you need quite thick skin, because there are some nasty people out there. But the constructive ones are the most important to us because they help us develop our content.
The best comments are like, "This is rubbish." That doesn't help us, but
Yeah.
this is rubbish because.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
the because bit is what we can work on.
Exactly. And sometimes they pick out really weird things that we're like, huh? Like,
This is rubbish because of the texture you use.
yeah, this is rubbish because you placed that block there instead of there. You're like, huh, that's a very
I
minute
sometimes
thing.
get this is rubbish because your mouse is too clicky. So there's clearly some feedback is just skips my mind entirely, to be honest.
So
Yeah,
an
I-
idea is nothing without execution. So I want to talk quickly about how you get started on YouTube. How many of you have a YouTube channel at the moment and are creating videos? Oh, wow, that's a lot. Oh, it was me as well. Yeah. So that's a lot of you. How many of you want to do it but aren't right now? So that's quite a lot of you as well.
You're
and
in the right panel.
Yeah, it can seem quite daunting, can it not? When you haven't got a channel and you don't know how to start, and that's what I kind of want to talk about today, is getting going, and it can seem very, very difficult to begin with. So what advice would you give, Gizzy, to someone that's got absolutely nothing at the start?
Oh boy.
It's a good question.
Make funny
There's
sounds.
there's so much to dive into.
I think the first thing is learning your craft. There's no point in doing like a command block tutorial if you don't know commands. If you want to do a building tutorial and you don't know how to build, I think the first thing is get good at what you want to do on YouTube. Like try and practice a lot. And how did you develop your craft? How did you learn?
Well, from my side, I actually went to the community. So before I went out and actively searched for what it is that I wanted to do, and then kind of absorbed and learned as much as I can, experimented, and when something actually worked, started making videos on it. So it's exactly as you said. I learned the craft beforehand, because if you release something without kind of knowing quite what you do, you will get a lot of flack for doing that. But yeah, learning the craft, it's a good one. I like that, yeah.
I think experimenting and trial and error
Yes.
is the
Perfect.
biggest part of making a video. Your first one might be rubbish. I mean, mine one was. Like,
Please,
don't go
okay,
back to our early videos, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most important thing for learning your craft is just to start like doing it. Like don't worry like, oh, I need a really good computer. Like just do whatever you can with what you have.
Yeah.
And then because that's
yeah.
basically what you're going to be doing for like your entire YouTube career, is working with what you have, and you have to be really good at that. So might as well start practicing now.
And it might seem like you can't work with a bad computer, but there are ways, and we'll go over that later, like how you can work with zero budget.
It's funny, like I also use like YouTube to teach me how to YouTube, like editing,
Yeah.
like YouTube guides on like how to edit.
Yeah, it's this
and
idea
how
of the
to-
circle, isn't
Yeah.
it? It feeds back into itself.
And yeah, I mean, never have the excuse of I can't do it because I'm missing a good, decent computer. As you said, never. Oh, I don't have a decent mic. Oh, I don't have a decent camera. Don't let that ever stop you. Just start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Everyone here started off with really bad stuff, and we built and we used what we
Yeah.
had at the time to make those content we did at the time.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things to making a YouTube video is obviously the actual content of the video. As long as you make sure that that is good, the actual content, sort of the bread and butter of the YouTube video. It doesn't matter about your editing. You could have no intro whatsoever. You don't have to have any form of crazy transitions or exploding effects or anything like that. You don't need all that. As long as the video itself that you're producing is actually worth watching, then that's fine. That's the most important thing. And if you do that right, then you're going to find yourself being successful.
Absolutely, it's YouTube. People forgive you for not being too good at it.
Thank you. I mean, I was not expecting an
You're the
applause
first
for
one.
that.
Yay.
That feels.
Right, so once you've learnt your craft, we need to talk about the creation process, like how you actually go ahead and make the videos.
Everything different.
Yeah, well, that's the point. I've specifically chosen people from different parts of the Minecraft community because we all have a very different process. The very basic format is you film, you edit, and you upload. But everything before the filming is what we differ on. So for me, I need to think about what I'm going to build. I need to prepare the land before I even start thinking. I need to get my community tools, which we'll talk about in a second. But it's going to be very different what I do to what Gizzy does, which is role-playing. So.
I do a lot of writing for the shows I do as well, and like thinking of themes. So I do like a lot of research as well, and like writing like scripts and synopsis and descriptions of like the episodes. What I usually do is like write out the entire season first, which could take like a day maybe, even just to like figure out like, and then I rewrite it to go over characters and introduce new characters and maybe get rid of a character if it doesn't work, and then introduce a new storyline within a storyline within the show, and then even think of like, oh, maybe there's be another story with this character in the show, because like a lot of my shows that I have, there's multiple storylines happening at once. It's not just one storyline.
And what do you prepare with other people, like, because you need actors
Yeah,
with
so
yours.
I also have voice actors as well. I have about 20 voice actors, so I have to do the script first, then send the script to the voice actors first before I film, just so when I finish filming, hopefully I have the voice actors, the lines already ready, but plus sometimes a lot of voice actors go away, or sometimes I have to hire voice actors. Like sometimes I do like scratch my back, I scratch your back, like I'll help you if you help me kind of thing, and that works quite well, especially on YouTube, like help your video, help my video, and it works both ways.
Again, it's a circle, it goes round.
Circle thing. It's like everyone's helping each other.
So, Mumbo, how do you prepare for your videos?
For me personally, as I say, the actual coming up with the ideas and reading through the book, I then sort of pick up an idea that I quite like. I pop off into my ridiculous redstone testing world, which is just filled with hundreds upon hundreds of redstone contraptions, just various different sizes and things. And I start, well, first I have to find a spot to build, which can actually be quite difficult. And then I start chucking around the blocks. Generally speaking, it all goes horribly wrong at least once, and I have to travel downstairs and take a break. And then I come back upstairs, and I generally fix everything up and get it ready to go. And once it's done, I'm really excited to record the video. So generally, I'm just like, oh, okay, it's time to go. Let's record this, because I'm always thrilled when my redstone contraptions are done. So that's basically the creative process for me.
And Dragnos, how do you prepare? Because you've got a lot of detailed commands.
So I mean, the thing you actually, if you follow what I kind of do, a lot of the time, a lot of my videos kind of feed into each other. It might not look like it, but I'll experiment. So a lot of what I do is just offline experimentation. So just keep on trying. As Mumbo said, getting angry, deleting the whole world, or actually blowing it up with the rest. It's
a very frustrating job, isn't it? It's very frustrating.
But I always end up with a lot of chickens in my world.
Chickens?
Yeah, chickens is my go-to entity to test stuff with.
So
I'll end up doing silly things. But anyway, so it is absolute experimentation and building pieces of the whole bigger mechanic. And then once each little piece works, then I'll sit down and make the bigger contraption, and then actually retrofill the video that I'll be making. Because what's important for what I kind of do, I need to, the first minute to 2 minutes of the video needs to demonstrate the concept and make it interesting. Because you'll find that people watch certain amount of time. So some only like the first bit where, the fun part, and then the rest will stay for the main video. So experimentation. Once it's ready, recording. I record my things all in one take.
Oh, wow, that's impressive, because we can cut and choose what we like.
Yeah, you'll say, oh, my stuff's all in one take.
That's impressive.
But it does mean I do have 6 or 7 takes.
But Machinima is way different to all of these, really.
Yeah, for Machinima, it really depends on what you want to do and like what you have to prepare. But the very first thing you need to do is take a really long shower so you can come up with a really good idea. Okay? And then once you got that idea, I feel like the step one, of course, writing a script, like doing a role play, you have to have a script. I mean, you don't have to, but that's where you're going to get like the most quality out of it.
I think if you don't put your ideas down on paper, when you try and like make them come into fruition, they just go blah, 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 and you're like, I haven't thought this through enough. And then once you actually structure it, you're like, good, I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah, like if you skip step 1, step 2, 3, and 4 are going to be so much harder for you.
Yeah.
But step 1 is definitely the most important thing, I think, for Machinima. You have to have a good script, or else everything else really isn't, match up to it.
I can relate.
So that's the thing I think people should focus on if they're trying to do machinimas, is just focus on your writing. And that's just something anyone could do. You just need a pen and paper. That's why I loved English class. I loved writing the short stories. And so you could really start like now, just working on your writing. And then the second step is finding out what you're gonna need. So as you can see here, I have a screenshot of Planet Minecraft. That's where I go for like a lot of my skins and for a lot of my maps. And a lot of the people only ask for like a link in the description. So of course, if you're gonna use someone else's stuff, you wanna give them credit because they worked really hard on it. And once you have all that, you can start recording. Now, the recording could be the hardest one, depending on what you're trying to do, because you need a lot of body actors. You need to, like, if you're gonna also superimpose other images on top of the machinima, like if you want to get really complicated, there's gonna be a lot more steps than these four.
Yep.
But once you get to step 4, the editing, which is my favorite part. Everyone hates editing for some reason. I love editing.
Those of you that make videos out there now, how many of you enjoy editing?
Yes.
How many of you make videos? Put your hands up. Yeah, so lots of you don't like editing, and I think I'm not a fan of editing. Are you?
See, if it's like a big project I'm like excited about, like a big long episode of like a big show I've been working like a finale episode, I like sit down and like just work on it for so long, make sure the voices are perfect, just because I want you guys to enjoy it as much as I enjoy it.
I think the end product is,
it's like as soon as like writing the idea to seeing the finished project always makes me so happy.
Yeah, because you have this idea in your head, and then like maybe a couple weeks later or so,
and
however
then
long it takes,
it's live. Like
it's there,
you have this
see
idea,
it.
and everyone's watching it.
And you can share with other people.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing ever. I love it.
So when we make videos, we depend on the community. A lot of us use tools that have been made by the community. They're not like things that you can buy. They're things that people have gifted the community in Minecraft. So I wanted to kind of go through some of the tools we use. I'm only mentioning a few because we haven't got all day, but I want to go through what I use, which is the replay mod. So hopefully it's playing behind me. Yeah, good. So this is the replay mod. This is a mod made by Crushed Pixel, and it basically allows me to see what I've just done again, right? So I built that first person, and then this is me viewing it again in the mod. And the 2 sliders at the top allow me to edit like how fast I go. So, like right now I'm going like super slow-mo, and it basically allows me to put keyframes. Now, keyframes are 2 points in time, 2 positions, and it allows you to make a time lapse. This is like my biggest tool. There are other alternatives to this, but this is the best thing for someone that's like working alone, like I am. Like, so I've filmed that like an hour before, and then I'm in the replay mod building it again. So like I'm speeding it up, and then I'll just I'll skip through if I can. No, I paused it. Never mind. There you go. So, yeah, you can skip through basically what you just played. And it doesn't have to just be for building. I've seen people use it for like really cool PvP shots where they're like just like slice someone and they slow it down and get this really, really cool shot. It's such a fantastic tool for machinimas as well because it gives you a lot of freedom. You could body act yourself. I think, Tortoise, have you used this for machinima making?
Yes, it's actually really nice because when you're usually making machinimas, you obviously can't like body act yourself, so you have to always get like one more person to do it.
Yeah.
But with this tool, like it really allows you to not only just have one extra body actor you, but like you can go back and like re-get any shot like over and over again until it's like perfect.
And this is also capable of dealing with 360, which Mumbo has used in a couple of his videos.
Yeah, so when you actually use the replay mod, essentially what you do is you do all the keyframes, then in fact, this is perfect timing because then what you do is you render it, which is this area here. You click render, and then it will produce a video. So it basically produces a new video. And one of the rendering options is to create a 360-degree video. So that's where you can see all the way around. Now, you can upload these onto YouTube with some slight fiddling with the metadata. And that means that people who are watching the YouTube video can actually use their mouse or their keyboard to look around. I'm sure all of you have seen them before. I'm assuming you've seen some form of 360-degree video before. And the cool thing is obviously it also works with the headsets and stuff. Now, what I did is I created like long corridors of just various different redstone contraptions that like fly across the screen and stuff like that. And people can travel through these corridors and look around and see everything that's going on, which is something that I really, really like, but unfortunately the replay mod hasn't been updated for a little while, which means that I haven't been able to do them recently, but it's a really, really cool feature, and it's something that I absolutely love doing. So.
And talking about like working with what you've got, if you've got like a rubbish PC, the replay mod might be a good opportunity for you because it renders itself. You don't need an editing tool. It will produce a video, and it renders it frame by frame, meaning that if you've got a laptop that's not very powerful, it will just take a really long time, but it'll get it done. I think that's a very good tool, but we'll move on to some other ones. This is the custom head ones that Dragnors uses in particular, but I think a few of us other use it as well.
Yeah, so I mean, basically what this is, Minecraft allows you to actually add the heads of players into your world by using a little custom code. So this is actually a community project where all of these heads are actually players who changed their skin and then entered their username into the website, which then generated the head itself. You copy the code, pop it in the command block, out it pops. And I mean, we've actually, even though I do technical videos, we've used it for everything from adding custom food sources to adventure maps. We kind of added little things on trees where we shoot. There's one where we had cakes on trees. When you shoot the cake, it actually falls and becomes a real cake. So this is a very, very good.
And this is a really good example of the community, because every single one of these heads was made by someone. We don't know who, but it was made by someone, and that's just massive, because there are hundreds of custom heads on here. So this is like a really good example of how the communities can come together to produce something really, really awesome. Yeah. So we'll move on to another one.
Are we going to have links on these somewhere?
Sorry?
Are we going to have links for these websites? So this is called Fresh Coal.
Fresh Coal, yes, yeah. Fresh Coal. And this is the custom command generator. And I don't touch commands. I don't think. We don't touch commands.
No.
This is all him.
My turn. Okay, so this cuts my development time by about 50 to 70%. Okay, so this allows you to actually custom create entities. And that's everything from, an entity is anything that is in the world, like it's items on the ground, it is mobs running around, it's armor stands, it is the new potion particle effects, all of those kind of things. And you are able to construct a custom entity using this generator.
So how many of you use command blocks? So you know how long those commands can get.
Yes.
This just cuts it down a lot.
So this is called MC Stacker, and the reason it's called MC Stacker, that when he originally created this, it was to actually just put mobs on top of each other, because there was you could add mobs on top of each other, and suddenly everybody wanted to have Endermen riding pigs, riding giants, riding, but then he developed it so that you can now do anything, any customization to a mob that is possible within Minecraft, you can do with this generator within seconds. Okay.
All right, so we'll move on now to another one that is pretty versatile. A lot of people use it. I've used it in some of my videos. We all know that Minecraft's a pretty game, but we can make it prettier by using shaders. How many of you have heard of shaders or use them? Excellent. So you know what's going on here. So Tortoise, what do you use these for?
So basically, you don't need shaders to make machinimas, but because it's also really CPU expensive. So if you don't have a computer, you probably can't use it. But what it does is it changes the lighting of everything, and you can really get shots and get emotions from shots that you probably couldn't get without it. Look how epic that certificate looks.
Yeah.
See? And so I think shaders is just not an essential tool, but if you can use it, I highly recommend it.
Okay, so Gizzy wants to talk about a mod that he uses, but I haven't actually got a slide for it, so I'll let him talk about it.
Yeah, that's my bad as well. I use a mod called Custom NPC, which is where you can put in characters and actors and NPCs and random, anything, any entity, like a mob or a human or a different character skin in your game, and I use that a lot as my actors, as well as I have players to play as body actors. I also use this mod a lot to create my other actors for my shows. How many of you guys heard of Custom NPC?
Yeah, because sometimes you don't have 100 people to act for you, so you need to kind of fill them in with.
Yeah, it makes things especially group recordings where I need a lot of people, having custom NPCs to be used as background actors really can help set a scene.
The more people that you need for a video, the harder it is to organize.
Yes.
So when you can cut that down, it's really handy.
Directing with this mod makes things so much more easier.
This one is a weird one. How many of you have heard of Minimator? Wow, there's a few people. So Tortoise uses this for some of his machinimas for some complex stuff, so I'll let him deal with that.
I just love Minimator because, one, you can make thumbnails with it, you can just play around with it, and you can animate and make cool poses. But the thing I love what you could do the most is you could do little animations, and it looks like, it's not like the other Minecraft animations where you could tell, like, they have like the more like crazy facial rigs and stuff, and the mouth moves and their eyes are bling. For this, you could really just throw it in a machinima, and if you do it right, they're probably not going to notice. So I made this in like 10 minutes, quick little thing, gets hit by a block. And with Minimator, like when you're making machinimas, you are really limited to what you can do depending on what game you're in.
Yeah.
So you're really limited. But with this, you could really expand like your ideas and like what you want to write in the machinima, because you could just do anything you want as long as you can animate it.
As an example, for example, a machinima, you could just be walking along and then suddenly a flying block hits your head and you can switch to that.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no way you can do that.
Yeah,
just in
exactly. You
Minecraft.
can't do that.
You can't write that in without it.
It removes some of the restrictions that like that does in
Yeah.
Minecraft, so you're able to move your arms around a lot more. And
So I just like it just because it really gives you more room when you're writing. Like, oh, I want to do this idea, but oh, I can't actually like pull it off.
It's not physically possible.
yeah. Because everyone has like a static face, it's good to be able to express things like through animation rather than just having one static image of a face.
Yeah.
Okay, so now onto the slightly technical side of things. Since so many of you make videos, I want to talk about software, like what we use in our creative process. So a lot of you may be familiar with what we're going to be talking about. Some of you may have no idea. So the first thing I want to talk about is what we use to record. So I don't know what you guys use. What do you use?
I use Dxtory. However, I have used Fraps in the past, which is free, I do believe.
Yeah, so when you work into like no budget, there are options available. There are literally hundreds of options for you for recording software.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing is to do your own research and find what you're comfortable with, because we probably all use different ones. What do you use, Mumbo?
I use Fraps just because that's what I've sort of always used. I'm someone who doesn't. If something works for me, I just stick with it. And Fraps has always worked for me, so I just thought, hey, well, I'm not going to change it. And everyone always tells me when I'm like, I use Fraps, they're like, how big are your file sizes? I'm like, it's like 500 gigabytes.
Oh,
it's like, it just gets completely ridiculous. So I might have to change at some point, but for the time being, it seems to work for me.
But it is a free option. So if you've got no budget, and some of these you do have to pay for. So like Action is one I use, but it costs like £20, and some people don't have £20. So you need like Fraps, or OBS is a good one. What do you use, Dragnos, to record?
So I record most of my things on Mac. Okay, so I use something called ScreenFlow. Yay! Woo, Mac!
There are some Mac lovers.
I actually do record on both, because I do a lot of Windows 10 work as well. And unfortunately, I can't do Windows 10 on Mac. So I use ScreenFlow for on the Mac, which is, I do everything in it. I edit in it, I record in it, because a nice thing about it as well, you can actually record mobile screens as well, directly through that. And then when I record on Windows, I use OBS. As we said, I haven't actually found a Windows recorder that I was happy with yet.
Yeah, and there are so many. It's what you're comfortable with, and you have to like put yourself out there. But if you don't like change, like Mumbo, you get stuck with something like Fraps that makes huge files. But recording is one bit of software that you need. The next one is the editing software, and there's the big fight between Premiere Pro and Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
So those of you
one hand.
those of you that make videos, how many of you use Premiere Pro? There's some of you. How many? I use Premiere Pro. How many of you use Vegas? It's about equal, so it's always like this 50-50 split. But Windows Movie Maker. But how many of you use Windows Movie Maker?
There you go.
Yeah, cool.
There's nothing wrong.
I have a really embarrassing one, is that, once again, I was mentioning earlier, I get comfortable with things and I stick with them even if they're not brilliant.
Please don't tell me you use Windows Movie Maker.
No, I don't use Windows Movie. I use Adobe After Effects. Which is like, literally, it doesn't make any sense. If I render a Hermitcraft episode, which is like 20 minutes long, it takes about an hour and a half. But I don't know why, I just stick with it. It's just what I'm comfortable with. It's where I feel at home.
There's also another one, which is also recording and editing, Camtasia.
Camtasia.
Recording and editing, and I think it's quite cheap.
Yeah, there's a lot of editing software, and some of them can be very expensive, but also some of them are free. So it's what, again, you find yourself comfortable with. Editing is quite a complicated thing, but it doesn't have to be. If you put the research in, YouTube guides, you learn from YouTube before you put it yourself on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's how I learned, didn't
Same.
you guys?
Same.
Yeah, we all learned through YouTube, so it's again this circle where it feeds back on itself. So I want to talk about dedication, like how long it takes. Like a lot of people ask, like, how long does it take to make a video? And we're all going to have very different things, and we're all going to say it varies. So I'll let people talk about like how dedicated you have to be and how long the whole process takes. So Gizzy, do you want to start us off?
Oh boy. So one episode of like a normal show, like a school or haunted hotel, would probably be like 3 days, because that includes writing, directing, editing, voice actors, thumbnails, and depends on the voice actors as well. It could take up to like a week, just if they're available. But Altered Adventure, my big show I work on, the last episode has taken me 4 months still to work on.
But you like work on multiple projects, right?
Yeah.
So
So unfortunately, I don't have time to work on like one project.
Yeah.
So I have to push that back to work on another project, and it's hard to balance it out. But you learn as you go how to balance it.
And Mumbo, what would you say in terms of time?
So on my channel, I do 2 different things. I do a Hermitcraft survival let's play, and then I also do my redstone videos and things. So my redstone videos, most of the time is spent planning out beforehand, so the building and things like that, and then the recording afterwards. I would say, depending on the size of the redstone contraption, it can vary massively. If I have like a really bright idea that just clicks in my head and is really smart and simple, then obviously building it will take a very small amount of time, and I can get the entire thing done in like an hour and a half, then plus all of the editing, because I use After Effects, that's like 4 hours.
and how much of that? How much do you procrastinate?
A small amount of procrastination as well in there as well. But then if it's a big redstone project, it can take anything between a whole day to build a redstone contraption. It can really get ridiculous, especially if I run into problems that I don't think of. There's been also a lot of times where I've actually started work on a redstone contraption. I'm like, this is going to be brilliant, and then I get halfway through and I'm like, this is actually impossible.
It doesn't work.
It's actually impossible, or at least for someone with a brain like mine. So.
I have a similar thing. Like when I'll be working on a build, I get halfway through and go, "This doesn't look good."
yeah. I get that with all of my builds, so don't worry.
But machinimas for Tortoise, they take a lot longer.
Yeah, I feel like what takes me the longest is actually writing the script. Like, it will take me like a good 3 to 4 days to actually just flesh it out and have it like perfect. Because a lot of times when I first write the script, I make it way too long, and I don't feel like making a 20-minute machinima because that's gonna take forever to actually like put out. But basically, what was I saying? What was the question again?
Machinimas take a long time.
They take a really long
Script
time.
takes a long time.
But filming is usually for me. Well, I mean, filming could really depend, like, because if everything goes right, you could probably finish in a day. But things never go right. Something always goes wrong, and it always takes so much longer. So I feel like for me, filming's always like the most stressful and part that always takes me the longest. But once I get editing, I just basically don't leave my room until it's done.
Oh. And Dragnos, how long does it take you to sort yourself out with the video?
That really and utterly depends. I mean, when I do snapshot videos, it can take 2 hours. Okay, to do a concept, and because when you learn what's new, inspiration sparks. Then a normal concept video could take 2-3 days.
And then map making takes yonks.
No, we're not talking about map making. Sorry, I've just finished like a 3-week development cycle on something called the Fire of London, where it was maybe 200-300 hours.
Oh.
Just for that. But the longest video that's taken me to make was the Windows 10 Pocket Edition trailer.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because that was a one-shot video to make, because it was this not roller coaster, but it was this Rube Goldberg machine going through the motions. It had to be done in one take, and we had to fly. And because Windows 10 doesn't have the smooth, you can't turn on the smooth flying, it was a nightmare. It was,
I can imagine.
I don't know, at least 60, 70 takes.
Wow.
Because it's one take.
And that's something you don't see. Once you see a finished, once you see like videos on YouTube, that's like the finished product. You don't see the 10 other ones that we failed making.
Yeah.
Like, so that's a big part of like time consumption, is just how much gets scrapped. So I think we've kind of gone over like how we make our videos. But the thing is, like, when you're starting, how do you get involved? Because I mean, I personally receive emails from people saying, "Can you come and help me build? Can I come and build with you?" That kind of thing. And I think emailing your favorite YouTuber isn't the best way to get involved in the community, because we're just not able to. There's so many people, it's just not feasible. So what would you say is like the best way to get involved in command blocking, for example, Dragnos?
It's actually getting involved in the rest of the community. I mean, by all means, comment on your favorite command blockers videos.
Yeah.
Ask, because what I've actually seen happen a lot is, because yeah, we read comments, is somebody would say, oh, I need help with this, but somebody else later on in the day would respond to them, okay, and they would actually, the community answers those questions themselves. Yeah. But absolutely, comment on your favorite YouTubers' videos. As he says, we read the comments, but it's physically impossible to help everybody or even one person. It's very, very difficult. Our times are limited. But comment, go online, join Twitter, find people who share the same interest as you, and just get involved with them. It takes one conversation to kickstart an incredible relationship and start the whole YouTube thing for you. So just, and also keep at it.
I'm sure that lots of people in this room, if you started talking to each other and started sharing ideas, you'd all love to get involved with each other's projects to make something happen.
You're all in the same interest right now,
Yes.
and like you could look to someone to the other side of the room and end up like collaborating with them.
Exactly.
Because you're all interested in the same thing.
And I think a good way is to start, because obviously this doesn't happen very often. You don't all get people with great ideas in the same room. Is go on like Minecraft servers and see if, like, for example, if you want to get involved in building, you might go on a plot server, take a look at what other people are doing and be like, wow, how did you make that? And then they might show you. And then you can be like, oh, cool. And then you can take it away and do your own thing with it and develop it. You have to like throw yourself in there. You can't expect people to come to you with ideas. How do you get involved in the redstone, though? Like, it's a bit harder.
So with the redstone, once again, I would say definitely go onto plot worlds. There's a lot of plot worlds that really do cater towards people who build redstone. And plot worlds are fantastic for redstone because obviously you get just a completely flat area and you have sort of 100 by 100 area to just build ridiculous redstone contraptions. And then you can take a look at other people's plots and see what they're building. You can ask them questions if they're around. I mean, as you said about the emails thing, the number of emails that I get from people saying, can you help me build a 2x2 piston door? It's like, you know, if I had to do that 100 times a day, then I wouldn't have any time to make the videos and things. So definitely checking out the plot worlds. Just look up any servers and things. But also, one thing that I did early on is I actually checked out the subreddit. So Reddit is a really brilliant community website. I don't know how many of you know about it. But the Redstone subreddit was really, really active. And there were lots of people on there that would be happy to just run through any issues that you were having. So you'd be like, hey, you know, I've got this idea for something. I can't quite work out how to do it. Does anyone want to lend a hand? And they'd be like, yeah, sure thing. You know, this is how you do this, and this is how you do that.
If you present it as a challenge, everyone will jump on it.
So I bet you guys can't build this. And they're like, oh, well, I bet I can.
Excellent. Tortoise, how do you get involved in machinimas? Because that's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's more like movie making.
Yeah, because when you're making machinimas, well, for most games, like Minecraft specifically, when you're like filming it, it's like you're actually filming an actual like live action like video. You have the camera guy, the director. You have body actors, which are people who they don't do the voices, but they play the characters you see, and then the voice actor will come and do a voice over it. So I'd say the easiest way to get into like machinimas is be a body actor, right? Because people always need body actors.
Yes.
We're always on a body actor shortage, and it's like really hard to find people who like pay attention, you know, have a long attention span and can follow directions.
Yep.
And if you're a body actor, you really get to see how other like machinima creators make their video. You get to see behind the scenes exactly how they film their stuff. And that's why I even like body acting for other machinima makers, just to see what they do and if I do anything similar or if there's anything I can improve on.
Exactly. So the last bit is actually putting it on YouTube. So I think everyone here agrees that your content is the single most important thing, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
In agreement?
Yeah.
Okay, so the content has to be good. But again, when it goes on YouTube, you kind of have to try and make sure that it gets put out there. Because if you made this amazing like redstone contraption, like something to equal Mumbo, but then you put a blank screen that said hello as the title, that's not gonna get seen, right? So I think it's really important to make sure you've got good titles, attractive thumbnails, and have something unique. Have something that's not been done before. If you're playing like Mineplex minigames or something, there's thousands of those videos, thousands of them. So it would be really hard to find them. So I think everyone here like is always chasing that next idea, chasing the idea that's not been done before. So I think, what would you say about like thumbnails and titles in particular? Because the metadata is quite important.
For me personally, I just try my best. So with a thumbnail, thumbnails for me are for about the past year or so, I used to do quite minimal thumbnails, as in I'd have a very short but very bold lettering at the bottom just saying, this is what the build is, and then I have a picture of the build. But then recently I've been spicing things up a little bit. I've been putting my Minecraft character in just a tiny bit and basically making it look a little bit more exciting than that. And that's helped massively. I mean, I've seen a definite increase in the number of views that those videos get. So that really proved to me, I was like, dude, like, I've been slacking. I need to be doing more with those. But also with the titles, I try my best to explain what the video is to a certain extent. So obviously if I'm doing a redstone contraption, if it's like some form of piston door, I explain what the piston door is, but I try my best to make it look attractive and like something interesting that people actually want to click on. Because if I say another boring piston door, people aren't going to click on it. But if it's
the fastest piston door on
yeah,
YouTube,
exactly.
then you're good to
People are like,
go.
whoa, yeah, that's great. So just try and make it seem attractive and something that people will actually want to watch.
You have to make sure it's not misleading. People,
Yeah,
people will get
absolutely.
angry at
Yeah,
that.
you do not want it to be something. You do not want people like it's great. Okay, if you make it misleading, like you'll get lots of views. Or you could get lots of views. That's
potentially.
okay potentially. The issue is that they're clicking on the video expecting something else, and then when they don't get something else, you're actively disappointing. So even though you've got a really good view count and you could consider that a success,
It's
hard,
not.
like, about 90% of the
People aren't
people have clicked on
watching-
it and gone, oh, well, this is rubbish. I hate this guy.
Yeah.
I'm never
Yeah.
going to watch
Yeah.
him again. So
You're-
you've essentially lost out on a
Yeah.
huge number of people.
And people
there.
aren't watching you for you then. They're just watching, oh, this is like an interesting title. Oh, it's not that.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
clickbait. And then they click
Absolutely,
away.
absolutely.
And you want people to like subscribe to you
So
for
it's
you.
like if you said like this is the most amazing redstone contraption and then it's just a door. Like that's very misleading and people will be angry because you tricked
What,
them.
you mean like
You
what,
say
12 doors?
that, okay?
Like 12 doors?
When on the first day of the year,
Oh my god.
on the first day of the year, I said the most amazing redstone contraption of this year, and it was actually a door. So thanks, Korean.
Okay.
I also think it's important to like emphasize how important it is to focus on the content itself before you focus on like the YouTube politics and trying to
Yeah.
get like 1 million subscribers. Because if you don't have the good content, there's no point of doing this.
Yeah.
Because if people find the video, it's great, but you want them to stay also.
Yeah.
You want to hook them in. So I think that's something really important that a lot of, beginning YouTubers should do is really focus on the content first, and then this should come last.
But it works when it's all in conjunction, like together.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
when it all synergizes and comes together, that's when you've got the perfect upload.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to add to the thumbnails and titles, guys? No? Okay, cool. So we've kind of come to the end of our panel now, but I want to show everyone what we're proud of because we've kind of come to the end. We've gone through the process, and this is the end result. So we've kind of chosen something from our channel that we're particularly proud of, and we want to share with everyone today. So we'll start with my one. How many of you are fans of Steven Universe, the cartoon? All right. Okay, so a long time ago, like last November, I made a time lapse of the Crystal Temple, and it's one of my favorite builds. And I just wanted to show you a little clip of the final result. And I used shaders in this one as well. So I also used music from another YouTuber. So again, the community helped me make this video as well. And that was all made. Like I used some community tools to build the mountains. I didn't place that by hand, but the rest of it was all made by hand. I think it looks pretty good. Thank you. The shaders really accentuate. The point of that one is I think the shaders helped me a lot. So yeah, that's one of my proudest moments on the channel. We'll move on to Gizzy. Gizzy's going to have to give a bit more context to this one because it's going to seem weird when you watch it.
Yeah, so if any of you guys have heard of the Altered Adventure show I do, well, a few of you guys, it's like this big show I worked on like a year or two ago. I'm still kind of working on the finale right now. It's a very long episode. And there's this one little scene where I love to like write like dramatic scenes, and this scene was like really dramatic in the like a big plot. Like
so many people have died
Okay.
getting you here.
She's right. You need to stop the
we'll
demon.
play it.
That's why you're here. Everyone who has died has done it to help you get to this moment. If you don't kill the demon, then they lost their lives for nothing.
If you open the prophecy, their death was not in vain.
well, you killed Voice. I mean, you didn't have to kill Voice.
I had to free my father. I can finally have a family. My son is right. So many people have died.
Okay, I've made my decision. I've made my decision.
I am not going to open the prophecy.
What?
What?
What? What? You heard me.
All right, nice.
So, thank you. Playing with voice acting is a lot of fun, especially when you're like live acting it, and then you add in the voices afterwards, and like all of it coming together, and especially that little scene where it's like different, like really epic voices done. It's a big dramatic like scene that's happened, and like just seeing it finished feels pretty good.
And if you add in voice acting, you have to like mentally prepare a lot,
Yeah,
because you'd have
so-
to like look at that door
Yeah.
and then know
I have
how long
to,
to
a lot
wait.
of it, like a lot of the role playing for voice acting, it's improv scripted. Like I know what's gonna happen, but with the voice acting, I don't know until I click record.
Right. Okay, so Dragnos is up next with his favorite creation. Do you want to give us a little background to this one first?
Right. So yeah. So yes, this is we are the Rangers. Okay. So this is by far one of my proudest moments. It's I'm taking people back to where I'm from, South Africa, or Africa, and we teaching kids all about conservation, all about how saving the animals, why it's important to save the animals, and we actually put them in the shoes of a actual ranger. So yeah,
let's play it.
So this is the trailer for that particular map.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's well, thank you. Now that was. I mean, there's some really cool things. I mean, this is completely and utterly modless. So this is completely vanilla Minecraft. There's no mods, nothing involved. All of the models, all of the animals running around is actually invisible zombies with animals on their heads. So yeah, this was quite a. I'm really proud of that one.
We didn't really talk
about film on it.
Yeah, we didn't talk about resource packs too much, but they're a huge part of what we do as well. Being able to edit what exists already is a very, very big
Like
thing.
skins,
Yeah,
texture
models,
pack, resources,
yeah.
models.
Changing the look, the feel completely and utterly. Yeah.
If you can make friends with someone that can make a resource pack, you'll do really well.
Yeah.
So Mumbo's up next with his favorite contraption. Do you want to explain what this does?
Yeah, I'll give it a go. So recently, this is a relatively recent thing. I was just trying to think of contraptions that I've made this year, pretty much, that I quite liked. And this was something that another one that just literally came into my head. I think I was also in the shower once again. That seems to be an ongoing theme of this panel, which is a bit strange. But yeah, so I just came up with this idea that I want to make a cobblestone generator that's so fast that if you were to deploy it, you wouldn't be able to get through it. So say someone's chasing you or something like that, they're running behind you, you want to deploy this cobblestone wall, and then they literally can't break through the cobblestone wall because it's so quick. And it's made up, go ahead. Yeah, show the clip.
What it looks like.
Of redstone, as you can see right here. Things escalated in size very quickly, but I'm pretty happy with the end result. So as you can see, the machine is currently active. We've got plenty of redstone firing, lots of piston action occurring. Everything's looking really quite lively. And if we pop up to the top here and try and break this wall, as you can see, it doesn't really happen, does it? I mean, we break a few blocks. I'm really going to town on this mouse right now, and we're seeing the tiniest bit of daylight on the other side, but other than that,
Just in case you're wondering, I usually sound that smooth, but I am very jet-lagged and also have a horrendously sore throat right now, so yeah.
That's definitely my favorite thing that you've done is the unbreakable wall.
Yeah, that one was a cool one. That was a long project, though. That really was.
Yeah.
I like the doors.
Pardon?
I like your doors.
Thank you.
You know the one where you're like walking with.
Oh, the 20 doors.
20 doors.
Of course,
20 doors. That's what I was trying
seconds.
to
I've
say.
completely forgotten my most viewed video. How embarrassing.
You know how many spoofs you've had of that, especially in the command block community.
Yeah, it's awesome, awesome.
And finally, we have Tortoise's one of your proudest moments on YouTube. Do you want to explain a little bit before I play it?
Thank you. So basically, one of my favorite machinimas I ever made was like a music video. And it was just because I love that it was a challenge, because I love making a machinima with no voice acting or lines whatsoever, like not even text on the screen, because it really focuses you on having to like tell a story without lines. Like you just have to show it. And I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to like storytelling or like movie or making a TV show is show, don't tell. And if you make a machinima with no voice acting, no lines, like no text or whatever, it really forces you to really work on that craft. And then once you start adding lines, it really adds to it.
What's this video about in particular? What is
This one is about, it's a survivor who lives in the barren wasteland, and he finds a pig, some sweet, delicious bacon, but he chooses to befriend the pig, even though he's starving, because friendship greater than bacon. So
let's take a look at it.
Where should I go now? Should I go downstairs or should I stay up here away from all my fears? I tried to take a step but fell 3 steps back. Up here is where I know it feels like my home.
Nice. There you go. That video is 3 years old. It's really withstood the test of time, I feel.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, I recommend it. It's got an ending to it.
Man and his pig. I think that's what's good. All right, so that's it, everybody. Thank you very, very much.